old tennis shoes, whatever, to watch the Ellsworth hearing. And I tracked on Fern after. I go, what the fuck? He goes, it's fucked. We're fucked. I was like, ooh, Fern, man.
Wow.
Because Fern only
That is very
2 Democrats voted to fucking 4 to kick him out, 2 to censure. I couldn't believe it. That Ellsworth, he's got him wrapped around his fucking finger.
Am I here tonight?
Yeah.
I mean, they got to get to 3/4 vote.
I know. 34. Yeah.
It's a rough outline.
And Ellsworth's been working with the Democrats, so Flowers gave this speech, and I'm like, oh, Pat, Jesus Christ. Like, so at the end, I'll talk about it on here. It's live. Hey, is it on? Yeah. Oh, we're good. We're good to go. All right, you guys, welcome to Beer, Buds, and the Big Sky Podcast. If you're here and you don't know what we're doing, it's just a podcast, no big deal. We kind of do this every week.
It is not a big deal.
It is not. 363 followers on TikTok. Over 1,000 on Facebook now.
I need to get a TikTok
What?
account. I don't know
You
how
don't
to
have one?
No, I don't know how to do it.
What?
1,000?
Well, it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy to,
I thought it was banned. I just found out it wasn't banned.
Oh, no, Trump saved it.
Okay.
It
Hey,
got him elected.
That works.
Apparently it got him elected because something did.
That works for
One
me.
of my bike buddies tunes in every week, and he said, "It's priceless. After Ed has his second beer, you can't stop laughing."
Well, it's the second beer that you see.
But it's important to remind people we're laughing at Ed, not with him.
No, I'm alone. I'm alone on that one. You got to read that first one.
Yeah.
That's a question.
So, Steve, answer me this. $7,500 tax credit for buying a Tesla is capitalism at its finest, but a $6,000 child tax credit is socialism?
I
Yeah.
think it says communism.
Oh, well, the same thing. What's
Same
the difference?
thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there a difference?
No, God, no.
I thought communism was a little further
No, same
on
thing.
the spectrum.
It's on the spectrum, all right. But you get a tax credit for buying an electric car. In fact, Amy bought an electric car. I said, you better buy one for Trump because he's going to get rid of those credits.
Yeah.
Well, now that he's best friends with Elon, and you're going to give somebody a $75 credit. But yeah, for a new kid, for the party that cares about the children so much.
It is very interesting that you get, you have Steve's a teacher. He knows you have countless, horrific school shootings. Those get thoughts and prayers. But if
Yes.
you key a Tesla, we will pass emergency legislation to send you to fucking Gitmo.
Yeah. Well,
You are a domestic terrorist.
So, okay,
how many more kids are you having now because of the tax credit?
that's something. I heard somebody talking about this, and I'm not supporting vandalism. I think it's very stupid what these people are doing. But some people might have a problem with an oligarch running their lives because we didn't vote for that, and I can get that. But at the same time, you can't free the J6 weirdos.
Right.
You can't. What the hypocrisy.
Yeah.
What in the world? I mean,
He's talking about paying them,
yes, reparations.
I saw that.
Oh, yeah.
Reparations.
No, that's a serious conversation.
which would be just beautiful. I mean, that would be America in a nutshell, where we argue about reparations for 200 years.
The guy in the Royal Order of the Water Buffaloes gets a check for
Yeah.
shitting on the walls, I guess.
Speaking of Elon, did you see, we have DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, and I did see that, so a judge blocked a lot of the orders firing federal employees.
Yeah, that
and
keeps happening.
These employees have been reinstated, they're getting back pay, but they're still on administrative leave while the lawsuits are pending.
And getting paid.
And that's efficiency, baby.
That's the problem with federal government right there. That's
Yeah.
why we got to burn it all down. and
That's
start over.
efficiency.
Okay, federal government and Montana government. There's 60 lawsuits against Montana from the last session? I mean, look at the waste. You want to talk about waste
That's why
and
we have a
abuse.
slush fund.
Yeah.
That's why they have the
You think
slush
we'll
fund.
get a Doge in Montana eventually?
I think we have one. I think we do. I think Senator Barry Usher's probably going to lead that one. We're going to talk about him a little later. He's
Barry
got an
Usher.
interesting bill for sure.
Second thing I had here, Steve, and this is just me kind of sounding like a boomer a little bit. I have these, complaints where
bit.
I sound like an old man. My wife always makes fun of me.
She's not wrong.
Stop having me make accounts. We
For
bought
everything.
we bought a light bulb the other day, and the goddamn thing had an app, and I had to make an account.
For a light
enough
bulb.
is enough.
My cat box is that way.
The speaker that I buy, I don't need to create an account.
I know how many times my cat shits a day.
Oh my God.
I don't know if I want to know that.
I buy something on a website, I got to register. It's like, here's my
Yes,
address, here's my money,
register.
we're done.
We're done. Well, much like I ordered the Children's Guide to President Trump. I wanted the free copy, and they sent me 3 copies. Well, the other 2 were $17 a piece. They didn't tell me. 6 weeks later, they tried to charge my credit card.
Right.
Well, I canceled that credit card on them.
Yeah.
But that was pretty cheesy, you know? I mean, that's stupid.
What's your complaint,
That's,
Steve?
that's so they can pay for all the lawsuits. That goes into
They're helping my pillow
Trump's,
guy.
that goes into Trump's account, his legal fund.
What's your biggest old man complaint, Steve?
Well, I had to sign up for an account today to buy my Billy Strings tickets, and you know what? It took me.
Yeah.
I had to. It was such a pain in the ass.
Grow
trying to
up.
get tickets on
Right.
the floor.
Is this a
took
traffic
30
light? I don't
minutes.
know.
Like,
I mean,
yeah. I'm sitting there punching the button. I want pit tickets. I want pit tickets. I'm sorry, an error has occurred.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I log into Firefox because I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's something to do with my cache. I log into Firefox, same damn thing. So then I do. Then I go into. Then I use Safari. Nobody uses Safari
Oh,
anymore.
Jesus.
I don't even know what that is.
Same thing.
What
and
are you,
then
Amish?
finally- Well, I have an Apple, so I'm a Mac guy.
Yeah.
And I wear boxers. But you know, it was a pain in the butt. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna say that. But eventually, I got 4 tickets on the floor. It just took me a long time.
Good. You got Pitt?
So-
You got Pitt?
I
God.
didn't get pit. No, I'm on the floor, but
Aren't you too old for the pit?
Is there anything more frustrating and broken than trying to buy concert tickets to a
Oh, my
popular
God.
concert? Oh my God.
I'd rather go back to waiting in line.
It'll make you want to
in
be a
lawn
monk
chair,
and just
yeah.
swear off music forever. It's awful.
So, I don't know if you guys saw this in the news. It's kind of back-page stuff, but the leaked text messages on.
I did see that.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
So Hegseth leased his leaked text.
Oh,
this
I thought
is
you were
when
talking about Hillary's emails.
No, that's
Okay.
much more important
My
than
bad.
this. And the deep state's going to recover them someday. This is when the first bombs will definitely drop. That was part of the. Okay, you know, I mean, it is what it is. We know if this was a Democrat, Fox News would be all over it. They'd lose their shit.
Sure.
It is what it is. I think we need to start admitting that bullshit to ourselves, to our redneck brothers.
They're not
you know?
playing the same game. There's
No.
a different set of rules.
No, different set of rules. And controlling most of the media, you know, especially the media of the people that live like we talked about it before. I guess Dave Portnoy is just up in arms over this too.
Really?
Yep. He,
Really?
I know. He's like, watch his thread. You probably don't. It's on TikTok. Oh, it's on Instagram, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah, he was going off on this, how this is inexcusable, and this and that. You know, I don't know what Joe Rogan has to say. I know he did say he's not going to Canada for UFC,
I was going to
though.
say, I think I know exactly what Joe Rogan is going to say
He
about
said he's
this.
going to Russia instead.
That's always a great trait you want in a critical thinker is everyone knowing exactly what your stance is on
Was that a
everything at all
promise?
times.
Was that a promise from him?
Yeah, well, I don't know if there's a UFC in Russia or not, but
Not yet.
again, this is a controversy. It is. It's weird.
Well, Hegseth, he's just an idiot, right?
Was he drunk? You think he was
I-
drunk?
He's probably drunk.
Probably was drunk.
They were probably all drunk.
I mean,
They were
talk
probably
about
all
a,
drunk.
Talk about a DEI hire.
It
Pete
was
Hegseth.
like the 3 of us sitting around a text message talking about going out tonight or something. That's
Yeah.
what it sounded
How the
like,
fuck does a
text
reporter
message.
get
It's
on
like,
it?
Let's bomb those fuckers.
How the reporter get on it? Does anybody know? Does anybody know?
I don't know. You imagine getting that text though and being like, "What the fuck
Yeah,
scam
what
is this
the-
I
shit?"
don't know.
And then being
Well,
like,
they blamed him for being on it today.
Bomb? Yeah, they blame the
blamed him.
reporter.
Yeah.
They blame the reporter and he's fake news.
You get the fire, the fist, and the flag, and being like, "What the hell am I looking at here?"
There was another fake news story I saw today. Marjorie Taylor Greene was getting interviewed by a woman from an English news
I saw
source.
that.
Did you see that?
From London.
What country are you from?
Right.
England. Go back home. Aren't you worried about immigrants killing and murdering your women and raping them? I was like, she just said that.
She's a peach,
So
folks. isn't
an
she?
American
Yeah.
journalist says, I would like to ask the same question. Well, then you can ask it yourself. Well, dude, these people can't get elected. I don't care what side you're on, man.
Do they ever get embarrassed, do you think? Do they feel shame? It feels like that's a major problem in modern politics, is there's no shame anymore.
I don't know. I don't think there is.
I think there is on one side of the aisle, but there
Right.
not on the other.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's for sure.
yeah, I mean, with this in-your-face stuff like the Bobart thing, Kevin showed me something that Bobart said. Oh, calling it the District of America instead of the District of Columbia. Like,
Hell
they
yeah.
want to change that now.
Hell yeah.
For all you that are making fun of Gulf of America, well, welcome to District of America. Like, okay, can we just work on things that help America? I don't know. You know, like,
Why would they take the Columbia out of it? Why would they take the reference to Columbus out of it? Because they fucking love Columbus.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't.
true.
That I don't get. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a really weird world we're living in, where only one view.
Columbus was a conqueror. Amerigo Vespucci was a map maker. I mean, so who
well,
are
we
you
like
gonna, who are you gonna
conquerors.
tie yourself to? We should call it the Gulf of Columbia, or the
Columbus.
Gulf of Columbus.
Gulf of Christopher Columbus.
All right.
Let's bring it back.
Hey, as long as I still get a day off work, that's fine with me.
Do we get one off for that?
Hell yeah.
Oh, I don't- I'm in
it's
retail.
Indigenous Peoples Day now, which I support too, but I won't be working.
Hey, what did the liberals say when the conservatives shot another conservative?
I'm sorry. This is my fault. I'll stop talking or wanting things in general. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you go back to your hole.
Yeah, please forgive me.
Drink your liberal tears alone.
Please no one be mad at me.
Please. And that's one thing.
I'm sorry.
And I actually said the R word in the bar the other night with a bunch of lobbyists and legislators.
Yeah.
Well on the left side. I was yelled at a little bit. I go, you guys got to loosen up, or you're just going to keep losing. I go, I'm sorry. You know, I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick, but I'm kind of drunk. Sometimes I say the wrong things. But why are you so uptight? You know, I think we don't have to be the right.
Right.
We don't have to be like stupid.
Right.
We can be funny and stupid. Mm-hmm. That's like us.
Yeah.
It's better that way.
Stupid. Yes.
Stupid.
Yeah.
I want to thank Tamarack Brewing for making me stupid every Wednesday. Well, and Friday and Saturday and whatever.
Not
Both
Steve
days.
though. Steve went to Harvard. Is that true?
It's true.
That's going to bring us to our first
just
real
for 1 year.
topic.
Just for 1 year.
So I was wondering what all these cuts to the Department of Education would be. I have no idea what they would do. Some people tell me they have nothing to do with your schools at all. It's all run by the states anyway, so they're just throwing money away and wasting it. So anyway, we got Steve Quinnell with us here tonight, and he actually has a educational policy degree from Harvard University, which I think is out east somewhere, I've heard.
It's the Montana of the East, they call it.
Wow.
It's one of those woke places.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's got to be woke.
And actually, when I was going there, I was at the grocery store, and
You didn't have things brought to you?
no. I was getting ready to leave here to go there, and I said something about, I was having a yard sale, and I said something about, I'm gonna go. I'm going back east to Harvard for a year, and she's like, oh, you're going to Havre? I love that town.
And she was lying when she said she loved it.
Probably. Maybe
So
she
what-
was from a railroad family. Who knows?
Yeah, well, more than likely.
Well, what do you want to know about this whole?
Well, so where's
First of all,
they
this
put
is not, this is reality TV. They
put Jim McMahon's wife as control of it. Somebody said this,
Vince McMahon.
or Vince McMahon. that's
Not
Jim
the
McMahon.
quarterback for the 85
His wife
Chicago
would've been
Bears.
much
Jim
better.
McMahon.
Not the shuffle guy.
Yeah, not the Super Bowl shuffle
Not the
guy.
guy who got stabbed in the
The guy
eye
who's been
before.
incredibly accused of rape
Hey,
dozens
as
of
we're getting
times.
started on this, you know it's a miracle that she can walk, right?
Who?
McMahon, she was in a wheelchair on WWE for 4 years, and then came out and kicked the shit out of her husband. It was epic. It
No.
was epic.
No.
It's a miracle.
It's still real to me.
It's still real to me, damn it.
Really?
Okay, so Steve, what does it look like? Boots on the ground. What is the practical impact of getting rid of the Department of
And how much
Education?
money are they getting rid of?
You know who it's going to affect most? It's going to affect loans, college loans most.
Okay.
And he said he's moving that to the Department of Commerce, I believe.
Yeah,
Like
the Small
prospective
Business
loans?
Association.
Like people
SBA.
that are going to take out loans or people that have loans
Yeah.
already?
All of it, I bet.
Government-supported federal student aid. That's really the biggest. That's the biggest pocket of money that the
FAFSA.
that the federal government, the federal education department. That's their biggest expenditure.
How
There
much?
is no such thing as a federal standard of education. So
Right.
when they talk about we're going to take our, like when they're advertising it, they're talking about taking education back from the states, and they have all these little kids up there doing work behind Trump signing the thing. The federal government does not control in one iota the curriculum that goes into schools. That is
Steve
all
does.
controlled at the local
Steve does.
level.
Steve does.
It's controlled at the state level, and then the state has its own standards, and then local school districts decide how they're going to meet those
And
standards.
is that OPI, the Office of Public Instruction?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is also run by a very questionable candidate.
So is that why in Idaho kids think Indians are the bad guys always?
I saw that movie.
Yeah, it's that. So of the $200 and something billion dollar budget at the Department of Education, only about $14 billion of that goes towards K-12 education, and what that money goes towards is towards underprivileged people, and also towards kids with special needs. So the biggest cut, the biggest problem is that.
But they're not taking the loans away, though, right? They're not going to just take the loan away, but it's probably going to. Who knows?
Nobody knows what's going to happen.
I guess they could just stop
No
them.
one knows. My loans are in. I'm just ineligible to pay right now. I've called. I'm like, I'd like to pay. They're like,
Oh, really?
they're like, you can't. We're not taking them. Right now.
Holy shit! I mean, that can't be efficient. Doing just that's it. It's over. Like,
No,
come on. And I'd like people to admit to themselves that are business owners out there too. You cannot run a business that way. I mean, I get it. You voted for the guy. You want to change, and I don't even know what you want to change from. Yeah, I don't, because everybody was making pretty good money the last 4 years. But you want to change, and yeah, I didn't necessarily want Grandpa Joe and
Sleepy Joe.
Dead Joe, pretty much.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen him in a while.
No, and it's funny when Trump wants to make all of his pardons, illegitimate because he used
He just
AutoPad.
pardoned Hunter Biden's ex-business partner. Did you see that the other day?
What?
Yeah, Trump did.
He what?
Yeah.
Hired him?
Pardoned him.
Hunter Biden's ex-business partner.
Yeah, one of them.
What is he doing?
That one didn't hit the
He's probably
papers,
friends
did
with
it?
Rob Blagojevich, or
Rob.
Eric Adams, Wow.
What a worm that guy is.
Dude, I mean, well, I know we're getting what we asked for, I guess. But you're seeing some people souring on it, which not on Fox News, of course, or
No, I think there was a special election in Pennsylvania last night where they flipped a seat that won. It was a Trump district by 15 points, and a Democrat picked up a seat in the state house or the state Senate in Pennsylvania.
and Wisconsin Supreme Court's voting next week.
I have to admit that I've kept my head in the sand a little bit about news.
Me too.
There's only so much I can tolerate before I'm like.
I know.
But only so
Get
much
back
of
to
a,
education.
Yeah.
What's going on is really it's just their attack on the lower classes. It's the same thing that they've been doing. It's their same philosophy of nobody needs a hand up. Everybody, all those people just want handouts. We're just going to take away all the funding to try to make this country more equal, and all the things that have actually made our country great over the last 50 years.
keep them
A lot
dumb,
of them
keep
have
them
come.
poor.
A lot of them come in education. So you guys know what Head Start is, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's going to be the biggest. That's going to feel the biggest impact of doing away with the Department of Education because they have no idea where that money is going to go, and all that money goes.
That helps poor kids.
Pre-K, pre-K education, which is shown.
But it's their fault they're poor.
Definitively, that if you get kids an early start, especially kids at the lowest end, they have much better outcomes overall.
Right.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Their whole justification is that federal education has been not our test scores have been going down because of federal education, because of federal interference, when there isn't any federal interference in local and state standards at all.
I think they're going down because kids are addicted to their cell phones. They can't fucking focus.
There's a lot of issues.
You know,
you look
sure.
at the states you look at the countries that have higher attainment. Those are all socialist countries, and they're
Right.
all in Northern Europe.
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah.
Denmark,
And why?
Norway.
Because they have social medicine, so people aren't worried about whether or not they're going to be able to pay for their health care.
They're living a little stress-free.
Whether to pay rent or pay their medical bills. They have federal standards for education, which we don't have here.
Right.
And they have education, free education all the way through college.
Now-
And those are the countries that have the highest attainment levels. And if we go back to the 60s, when Kennedy said, you know what, we are going to beat the communists because
Right.
because we're going to invest in science education in this country. And guess what? We fucking did. And in 9 years, we went from not having a space program to landing a guy on the moon.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah, right.
And
Not in Flat Earth County, brother.
Joe Rogan
Instead
said
of-
that it's fake.
He
instead
did?
of-
That's gold.
Instead of fuck this, we're going to burn it to the ground by putting the wife of WWE in charge of dismantling the Department of Education. which is just fucking stupid. It's just absolutely.
I worry about that money possibly going for voucher programs and into private schools and giving people money for private schools. You see states like Montana, Idaho I believe they passed some legislation that, where they're going to take money from the poorer people and it's going to go to the wealthier people that can afford it to go to these schools. I mean, really, that's crazy. Now, can the Department of Education can they shift some of that money and go into, because states are still going to get money apparently from the federal government for education. They're just not going to have a department that kind of oversees that money. So they're just going to blindly give it to the schools, and these schools in these states could more than likely direct that money wherever they want.
Trump said the department is still going to, they're still going to administer those programs like Head Start and those things, but can you trust anything that they say about that?
Oh, 100%.
They don't have any idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
But by saying, well, we're not going to oversee anything anymore, there will be no guarantees that money can't go directly towards parochial schools, which is that's what they've been wanting to do for a long time. But there isn't a whole lot of federal money that goes into K-12 education that is not earmarked for either Title I, which is for reading intervention, for Title II, which is Head Start, or for I think it's Title II, or for special education. Those are the three things that's where most of the federal K-12
money goes.
Education dollars go.
Well, I mean, and to be honest, in my opinion, to put any money into these voucher programs into the private schools or whatever, when the country's becoming more secular, it is, and you can't stop that train.
Yeah.
It's less religious than it was last year, a lot less than it was 10 years ago, and in 10 years from now, it'll be a hell of a lot less religious. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing. I'm saying look for the future, and I mean, I couldn't tell you. I know people that went to private schools and regular schools, you know what I mean? And some of the people I went to a regular school with turned out really fucking smart, And some of these people went to the private schools.
I went to
really
public school.
Didn't,
Haven't been convicted
look
yet.
at you. Yeah, me neither.
Acquitted on all charges.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it really gets back to this bigger question, which I've been asking for a long time: is what is the role what is the role of government in our lives? And to me, it should be about protecting our rights. And,
well, yes.
And in education is the great fucking equalizer in our society. Mm-hmm. And it's what's made this country great from early on when we first started having public education in the 1860s.
But it's not cool.
Country to do it. First country to do it.
School's not cool, though. You see this, but people are starting to push back. They are pushing back. They're saying, you see a lot of this out there on the social media for sure, though, saying about, all these studies that if you keep them dumb, they're going to do what you want. They're not going to know what to think. You can ruin an economy as a leader and tell them that you're the only one that can fix it. And they'll vote for you. Like, that's scary shit, man. And when you see that we have been failing over the last how many years in education in America, so we are getting dumber. I mean, how do you stop that? And, maybe getting rid of the Department of Education is a way. I don't think so. I mean, especially if they're taking money out of Head Start or if that's going to happen, But, right?
Well, I would imagine, like Steve said, the JFK quote about studying science, for as much money as we take away, I would imagine China is more than happy to fill that void.
Yeah.
With putting money into cancer research and scientists and things like that.
You're right, because we stopped a lot of that stuff recently.
European universities are gearing up to take all of the smart people away from
and they actually are enticing
They're
people
like,
with
deals
and stuff and like housing and all. Like I'm seeing all this shit. But I jump on it too. I mean, there's a lot of. Here's the big problem. I think that the hardcore Trump people, they'll never understand it. They will never ever, and I swear to God, they just will not understand it.
Try me.
That more people didn't vote than actually voted for Trump. It was like within 1%. Okay,
that's true. Yeah.
It's true. A third didn't. A third voted for him, and just under a third voted for Harris. There is no real mandate. That's not it. So stop really acting like it and throwing your weight around like you do, because only about 30% of the country really appreciates what's going on. And you're creating a lot of turmoil with that. You are. And he's almost throwing it in people's faces that, like, he knows it, but he puts on a hat. Everybody identifies with him.
So why do you think that is? Why do you think that is, Steve? Why do 30%? Because, you had said you're checked out from the news.
Yeah.
I am too. I'm only so much of a masochist before I have to stop.
We have a show to do, boys.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? Are people just saying, you know what, they're all corrupt, I'm not even going to participate in this? Do people try
think
to
there's a lot
vote
of
and they
that.
don't know where their polling place is? Do they not know how to register? I don't know what the answer is.
That is that's the great question in the United States is why do so few people vote?
Right.
I mean, other countries voting is mandatory. Like Australia has mandatory voting. If you don't vote, you get in trouble. You get fined. And their turnout is still less than 80%.
Wow.
We're lucky if we get 60 in this country.
I would imagine mandatory voting leads to very funny write-in candidates.
I guess.
Like, you know, all right, Mr.
Yeah.
Kangaroo or what?
That's all
Those
right.
freedoms that way,
Australians.
you're exercising your right not to vote.
Right.
I mean, that's
That is a right too. I'm one of those. It should be a national holiday, guys. But you know, you're seeing.
we should make it easier to vote, not harder.
I
Oh yeah,
agree.
we all have a cell phone. Do it down there. Easy,
Agreed.
easy.
And
It'd
the
be easy.
Whitefish City Council there's no action on making it easier to vote. They've done nothing.
We got something from our producer Kevin McDowell.
Well, and we all know the only reason that we have to register to vote is to make sure you weren't black or an Indian. That is the
Right.
only reason why we have registered to vote.
Well, I want to know.
It is very funny when conservatives get upset that you know, how dare you say this country was built on, you know, racist principles, and it's like, yo, we had to amend the Constitution to allow black people to vote.
That's. I mean,
What are you
Allow
talking?
women to
Yeah,
vote.
what are you talking about? This is crazy.
it's insane.
You know, it's like systemic racism. That's made up. It's like,
You know, I'll tell you. I believe that this country's come a
Bring me
very
another
long way.
sunset, Chiefs.
yeah.
Yeah. But it's become a, oh, you know, by the way, I went golfing today. Village Greens is open, in case you
No
didn't know
kidding.
that. Buffalo Hill's open today, too. Yeah.
Jess Roper's at Buffalo Hills now.
He is.
He's not
Jess
at Village
Roper's the
Greens.
head
He
pro
left.
at
Yep.
Buffalo Hills, man. Yeah, bartender Brad is now running Village Greens.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Is he?
good. Yeah. I
On
got
one
5
leg?
pars in a
Just
row,
one good
Steve.
leg? Oh, okay.
And then I got like a 7. I'm like, you know what? Let's just go.
How is
it
the
got
golf
too
game,
busy.
Steve?
Steve's
I haven't
solid.
touched my club since I shot 87 in the club championship last August.
Okay. Well,
Ooh, that's a high score for you.
It was
Nowhere to
pretty
go but
bad.
up.
I was not happy.
That's really bad. Okay.
Actually, it's because my aunt and uncle were here the night before, and we stayed out kind of late.
They got you hammered?
Well, we started drinking here, and then
They
it
took
just
over.
progressed.
They took my normal job, huh?
you ordered wings, saw the price, and had to drink the pain away.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Stop
that
it.
is-
They're $1 today. Steve.
Yes.
What? What? Oh.
Okay.
We got to get the prompter back. We do. It's just easier, I
Running
guess.
loose. Running like a
week
top.
5, things start to unravel, huh?
Oh. What levy? I'm going to ask Steve about the levy. Oh, yeah, the levy. Oh, okay.
Well, what do you want to know about levies?
Kevin, why don't you ask him?
What levy?
Do you have a question? Anything in particular?
So Kalispell's running at 90%. STARS Act is going to help that out a little bit. What else? I mean, is it still going to have to cut 16 positions? How's that looking? If
Oh, yeah,
the
that's
levy
right.
doesn't-
16 positions they're going to have to cut. That's right.
Yeah, Kalispell School District, I forget how many it is district-wide, but I know that at Flathead High School where I teach, we're eliminating 9.5 FTE.
Go Braves!
Full-time positions. So that means we're absorbing.
Is that Doge?
2 people got laid off or got non-rehired, and then 7.5 retirements that are not going to be refilled.
And I don't know anything, but I'm going to assume you have a very high, lot of people in that school nowadays. With all the people that moved to Kalispell, I mean, it's got to be packed.
1,400.
1,400 students?
Yeah,
Hey,
our enrollment is going down next year, but it fluctuates.
it fluctuates. Well,
It's
since
hard to
Glacier
say.
opened, it did.
It's
How many
really hard
students
to
at Glacier?
14.
Fewer.
1,400.
Yeah, there's fewer at Glacier than
Are they cutting any teachers' jobs at Glacier, or is this count? This is valley-wide.
There are, but they were already running a little tighter ship, I guess, anyway.
So we're forcing larger classrooms, which nobody seems to think is a good thing. That'll help make us dumber. We're putting white nationalists on school boards. That's what's happening in a big part of America. So education is getting dismantled right now.
It is.
It is. I mean, and you know, and I'm honestly growing up picking asparagus and drinking beer and smoking weed as a very young kid, and didn't really care much about the education, but it's important. And my God, it's bad. Kevin's got something for us.
So, Steve, I sent you this earlier that Kalispell levies average was 33% voter turnout. 33%. And then on the average, these levies lose by less than 200 votes.
Oh my
So-
God.
Wow.
And these are just the high school levies, which is interesting. So
How are-
all the surrounding areas vote for that. And it's this, so how, like, do you think that we can actually get voter turnout for this now?
Wow.
Well, they're working hard. They are. The superintendent's working really hard. I will say that. There's also a parent group that was formed called One Brave Pack they're allowed to spend money directly on saying yes or no. The school district can't say you should vote one way or the other, because that's just a rule for school levies, is that the school district can say we're having a levy, we want you to vote, but we can't say one way or the other whether you should vote for it or not, or against it. You know, the way that schools are funded in Montana is unfair. And some people may know this, they only fund 80% of what it costs to run a school. The state does, and then the school has to go out to the local voters
And get
for
levies.
the other 20%. Kalispell School District is only funded at 90%. So imagine if you're a business.
And
trying to
haven't
run
all the levies in
services,
the last
but
10
only
years
have 90%
failed?
of the revenue.
Don't all of them pretty much fail?
Since 2007, yeah. The
We
only
haven't passed a levy since 2007 for
Yeah.
schools
in
Kalispell.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because who votes?
Yeah.
The school district, you know. if
'Cause
you look
Trump
at-
don't
if you
like
look
it,
at- well,
probably.
if you look at the difference between, in the high school district.
Is it because we have a conservative
county?
county?
Yeah, well, the
They
high school
just-
district goes all the way to Lakeside and Summers, and all the way out to Marion, and all the way over to just north of Big Fork.
Oh, they
and
don't
all
like
the way up to
education in
just
Marion.
southern Columbia
That's a
Falls.
swear word.
What you reading
But then,
for?
and
Yeah,
look
what
at-
you reading?
You look at
Why?
what levies have passed in the elementary district, which is just downtown Kalispell. They're funded at 96%.
Okay.
Oh.
We're funded at 90%. It makes sense. People in the county don't want to pay taxes. They don't want to. I mean, you don't want to. Are they ever going to vote
Yeah, they don't
to
want
raise
to.
taxes on themselves? Probably not.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
they
say
do.
no.
But who they elected the last 2 sessions now? I'm going to tell you goddamn right they do. They want their property taxes higher because they know the people they're electing are doing nothing about it at all. But they're happy that these are very conservative men that just see things the way they do. You know what I mean? They really don't like the LGBTQ crowd. They don't like those people much. I get the feeling they don't like a lot of colored people. Brad Abel. They're just not open to new things. You know what I'm saying? So they're against education. These are the people. So again, they are voting for this.
They want. I mean, if we look at the homeschool numbers in Kalispell in our district, they've gone up over the past few years.
Oh yeah,
And
I'm
especially
sure.
Now, if they can get a
Because
voucher,
there's fluoride in them schools.
Well, and if you can get a voucher, well, there's lead, but you know.
Forever chemicals. I hear they make you live forever.
I like forever.
I want to live forever.
Forever sounds good to
Yeah,
me.
sounds good.
Damn. You know, real quick,
Sure.
we just stopped giving Mexico water. Steve will take one too, please.
Really? Why is
Yes,
that?
we just shut off Mexico, Tijuana water from the Colorado River. Trump administration did. There's a treaty or a deal we've had signed. They just decided to not do it. Just let you know that real quick. I read that in the news.
I feel like at
What
this,
the fuck?
At this point, why would you make a deal with the United States?
I don't know. I don't think you do
I
right
would just
now.
be like, look, it seems like a good deal, but I am not signing anything.
And he just cut funding for all the museums and libraries, federal, all that federal money that helps museums and libraries. I mean, but to be fair, museums can start.
Arts are the gateway drug.
They are.
What?
They are the gateway drug to wokeism.
Yep.
The
Oh
arts.
yes, arts
Woke.
for sure. Gotta get rid of the arts.
Next thing you know, your
To be-
nose is pierced. You're gonna have 4 tattoos.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
gonna color your tips.
You're reading
Yeah.
James
And-
Joyce.
I'm
yeah.
getting my penis pierced tomorrow. Can't wait.
Yeah.
That's because you've been to the museum one
Right,
too many times.
right. Well, to be fair, museums could start selling some of that shit and make some fucking serious money. I'm sorry, they
Yeah,
could.
let's sell all the,
So,
let's sell
I
all
don't
the
feel that
Native
sort.
American artifacts that they have.
Yes, yeah, because that's gone. Yeah, any black guy stuff, yep, that's gone. Whatever. So anyway, education. You're basically hurting the poor with this Department of Education deal. That's what you're saying.
That's really what it is. Yeah.
The rich kids will be fine.
Rich kids are going to be fine.
They'll be
yeah.
fine.
Rich kids are going to be fine. You know, my biggest worry is for my kids who have federally subsidized student loans.
Right.
And I don't know what that's going to look like.
It's
If
a mess.
they're
I'll tell you,
already
it's a
turned over-
mess.
they are-
Like
they've
Ryan said,
already
he can't
turned
even
it over
call
to
anybody
a
to pay
private-
his.
Private company that services the loan.
Mm-hmm.
But now that the Department of Education isn't guaranteeing any of that,
Ooh.
what's going to happen? I mean, you
Holy
still have student
shit.
loans, it
I do.
sounds like. So
Yeah.
what the hell is going to happen to all
I'm
this?
supposed to be done in July.
Okay.
That's when
Oh.
my public service, because you do 10 years in public service, or it's 120 qualifying payments.
Okay.
But the ironic thing, everyone's always crowing
Oh,
about.
and then you're going to go be a rich guy.
Hey, yeah. I'm gonna
Amos.
come work at the
Amos.
tap house. Everyone's always crowing about student debt and getting a free ride. I've been paying on these loans since 2008. I have paid like dollar for dollar more than what it costs to attend the schools that I went to. And it's like, I'll keep paying because I guess I signed the paperwork, but
that isn't that's a horrible like when they say I'm getting rid of the Department of Education in a way, a guy like me is like, well, good, something's got to fucking change because these kids go to school, it costs them $100,000 these days. They end up paying $280,000 because they paid it for over 20 years. They don't get ahead until they're in their fucking 50s. A doctor doesn't get ahead until he's in his mid 50s.
7% interest on some of these loans.
I mean that.
Loan sharking. It's like legal loan sharking.
It is, and and also back even in my day, which was a while ago, and you went to college, Visa gave you a $5,000 credit card, and my friends that got that blew it all in the first month, never paid for it.
Yeah,
I paid for it, I'm sure.
Right.
By being one that went to work instead of going to school, I chose work.
And fun fact, you know what you can't do with student loans?
What?
Have them discharged in bankruptcy.
No.
They're one of like 5 or 6 debts that cannot be discharged in bankruptcy.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Joe Biden.
They're always in your name.
Yep.
Joe Biden did that?
It was he sponsored the legislation so it all went back to, and I'm sure Steve can correct me if I'm getting this wrong, but it all went back
He went to Harvard
to
for
the
educational policy.
No Child Left Behind, and they wanted kids to go to college, so they tweaked the student loan programs and they tweaked the bankruptcy code to make the banks feel better because they said, look, you give these kids a blank check, we want all these kids to go to college, but we're going to put it to where they can't be discharged in bankruptcy. Now, there is
Jesus
some scenarios, like if you get into a car wreck and you move a whelchair with your mouth,
right.
you can probably get that discharged.
Okay.
But if
not
I
worth
went
it.
But then you're medical, then you're screwed.
But if I went belly up and lost my house and everything and went bankrupt, my student loans would still be there.
And they would, I'm sure at some point they would act to garnish your wages at some point.
Without question.
God, it's bad.
I might as well have taken a loan from Tony Soprano.
This is bad, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because you'd rather die than probably, like if I don't have the money, I just want, because it's a hole you'll never get out of. And this is something that I really can't find statistics on. I'm wondering how many college graduates out there, I know there's an average of what's owed, but what never gets paid back. And it's, who's paying for that? I mean, my God, I mean, some of these kids and the interest that they're paying on bills that they probably can never pay. Like, I had to do that work for me. His name was Duffy. He was an English major. Mm-hmm. He's like, I went to party. I owe $70,000. I'll never pay in it. I'm like, he goes, my wife's a dentist. I'm like, Jesus Christ, is that your attitude? And that was seriously his attitude.
Right.
So how many people are like that? A lot,
Probably more than you'd like.
Definitely more than I would like. So education is a problem, going to be a problem. We'll always have problems, but it's absolutely necessary for this country to be worth a shit in the future for sure at any time. Yes. Like I think you said that about Kennedy. We went from 9 years to being dumbasses to putting somebody on the moon, allegedly. Yeah. I mean, that's amazing. That's an amazing statistic that I don't think people care about nowadays.
That's what happens when you have an inspiring message from your leader instead of this place is a shithole message from your leader.
I don't like the questions you're asking.
Instead of tweeting that Bette Midler is a washed-up psycho at 4 a.m., which is true, which he did.
Or the Atlantic reporter, fake news, bad guy, nobody likes him. I mean, okay, but that's what we have. You're right. We do not. And if you love Trump, that's fine. Admit he's not a leader. He's not really a leader. He's not somebody that's bringing people together. He's not inspiring at all. Unless you got a lot of hate in you, then he's inspiring. I guess.
There seems to be a lot of people that say, look, I don't really care what he's doing, but what he's doing is making the liberals mad, and I like that.
That's exactly
that's
it.
What I
that's
want.
That's kind of what I was getting at, just to piss people off. It is. I mean, that's why he keeps saying Biden was the worst president we ever had. He said it yesterday. He won't stop saying it. He'll say it in 4 years from now. I mean, I don't give a shit if he's worth. I really don't. I just want you to do something other than golf and fuck shit up. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of weird. Everything you're undoing is getting redone by judges that now you want to impeach and get rid of. You've already got rid of all the attorneys general. You got no checks and balances on you, and you're still getting fucked. You still feel like you're getting fucked and railroaded. You're not, Donald. You're not getting railroaded, okay? You're just stupid.
And I'm sorry, the fact that
I mean, did you see the portrait in Colorado?
I did.
Oh, I didn't
very
see the
funny.
picture of it.
Give the
It's
guy
very
I heard he
funny.
wants it gone.
Very funny.
Gone. I want it gone. It looks
They
horrible.
agreed-
It's
they
not
agreed
me.
to take it down.
okay, and I'll
Are
tell
they
you,
taking
They
it
showed
down?
him with little dinosaur hands.
Yeah.
I mean,
Really?
it was,
Oh.
I'll tell you what. If Trump and Steve, you'll agree with this.
no, it didn't. It didn't have dinosaur hands.
There's no way he's a 6 handicap.
Trump in Colorado.
There's no he's what?
A 6 handicap. There's
No,
no
fucking
way.
way.
Not at
No.
78 years
Of
old.
course
There's
not.
no way. I'm about an 11, and I
No,
would beat his ass on the golf course. I promise you that. If you're watching this, Mr. President,
Yeah.
That's right.
challenge.
We want you here right now.
Wouldn't that be something?
I can't get it. The images are gone. What did you need, Kevin?
That's it right there.
Oh, is that it?
Yep, that's
Yeah.
the one.
He said that that had to be taken down because it was
It's not that bad.
distorted. Whatever.
What the fuck? He looks.
That's the pettiness.
He looks like Jason Ellsworth.
That's the pettiness that we're dealing with and we knew this. We knew this was going to happen. We knew it was going to be about retribution and not about inspiration.
Let's get Mike
But
Joe
like I was
back up
saying,
here.
isn't
Mike,
that-
come
don't
on and
people-
join the
For
show.
whatever reason.
We got to move on to some Montana politics.
Okay.
Don't people see that as a feature, you think, and not a bug with Trump? They're
Mike,
like,
you
no,
give
no,
us
I
your
like
opinion.
this about him, the pettiness.
You like the pettiness? You like the pettiness?
I think a
Because
lot of his
we're living
supporters do.
Instagram.
The supporters like the pettiness.
It's not like
'Cause
I
he's
like
fighting
his
for them.
It's not like I like his policies, but I wish he wasn't so petty and bitchy. They're like, no, I like that he's a little bitch.
Yeah, his policies are killing me and making my
Yeah.
family poor, but I like it, you know?
Yeah.
What do you think about this education thing, real quick, Mike, before we get into Montana politics?
Education's good.
Well, the department, yeah. But, well, you're a farmer, you know. Do you care about education at all?
I think it's a good thing. We need
did
to
you
raise
eat-
the literacy rate in America a little bit. I think we're at the 7th or 8th grade level
It's
right
pretty
now.
scary how
Well,
low it is.
so that's the thing. It's getting worse. Like Steve was just saying, that if we do keep getting dumber, and it doesn't take long to get real dumb or real smart. If it took, you guys turn my mic down a little bit, maybe. Is it too loud? Sounds loud. Anyway, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, if it took us 9 years to go from dumb to getting on the moon, we can take us 9 years from being where we are to even worse. And, you know, the social media stuff and the school thing, if schools are going to lose funding, if poorer kids aren't able to do it, you know, I don't get it. And if Europe and India and Japan are going to start taking our students and our
Yeah.
people, I mean, damn, because that's what we did after World War II. We stole all their smart people.
Operation
We
Paperclip.
fucking kicked ass
Yeah.
in Europe and said, we're going to take whoever the fuck we want. And they wanted to come to America because their country was fucking flattened by everybody else, you know? And we got smart fast. And America did kick ass for a very long time. And we had an incredible middle class. We had incredible everything for a long time.
Yeah.
And then corporate tax rates stopped, but that's a different story.
Yeah. So Cal's probably going to pass that levy?
It all goes back to 1980. Your guess is as good as
State
mine.
legislature sure making it hard on them by jacking up those taxable values on homes all
Well,
over the state.
right. That's right.
You know, you saw
Oh,
what they did.
yeah.
They did
Yes.
that to Columbia Falls back in 2001.
Voters will be more
2002.
hesitant to vote for that levy
My
because
property taxes just went up, and now there's another levy. Like,
Yeah,
oh my
they're really
God.
making it hard, and you know the state's really just hanging on to that money. They're not really giving
They're
it
not
back to the
spending
local
it, right.
districts. Yeah.
It's not like it's not costing them that much more to run the state, or they don't have so many new projects that they're funding that requires all that funding that's coming into Helena.
I think what they did with taxable values by allowing homeowner taxable values to spike like that is really putting safety levies and school district levies in danger all across the state of Montana.
Yeah, it would, because that's a lot. I mean, it's more money. You know,
Look
like
how
if it,
hard Whitefish had to fight for that bond to build the $1 million sports park. It failed. And then
sports bar.
Sports park.
Oh,
I mean, it failed, and then about 7 families got together and said, no, this is going to pass in the fall, and we're going to make it happen. And they made it happen by 1%. I mean,
1%.
wow, 1%. Like, it's it
close.
shouldn't be that, you know? It really shouldn't. It really, like, God, that's crazy to me. It's crazy that it's not that important. And I guess maybe the mentality is, you know, you'll figure it out on your own, kid. Go ahead. Take your chances, you know? I don't.
I'll
boy.
spend my money the way I want to spend my money.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad Wife is putting some more money on that viaduct. That was up there on that
Oh, my God.
public lands rally. It's
pretty scary.
Sidewalks are narrow up there.
The thing
We
is
need more
shaking,
people up
yeah.
there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we should mention.
I wrote my councilman. They all ignored me.
I don't know what's going on.
Kevin, you want to put that slide up for April
I
5th real
tried. I
quick?
even
We'll talk
offered an
about it.
alternative.
I don't know if you guys know about this, but they're having a march on April 5th. You got to RSVP, I think, to the Flathead Democrats maybe. But hands off our democracy, our diversity, our rights. I don't know much about it, but I know the woman that's one of the organizers and stuff. And, you know, I think people are starting to get a little freaked out about what's going on. You know, you see the town halls that are going crazy. Look at that Bozeman town hall. 1,000 people. Was that Yellowstone or Bozeman?
Yeah.
Yellowstone. 1,000 people showed up.
Yeah.
Zinke
And Mark
gonna show up
Roscoe
here?
was there.
You think you're going to show up here?
Fuck no.
It was Soros.
know. He just
Soros
might.
paid for it.
Soros paid for the whole thing, of course. That's what. Okay, so, man, it just sucks to try to keep her cool with this kind of shit, doing this, because
Let it fly.
okay,
Let
these
it rip.
these fucking retards that voted for Trump and
Okay.
hate all this stuff.
You're talking about engine
I'm letting it rip. I'm letting it rip. I mean, just what the
Didn't know I
fuck's
was
going
signing up
on?
for that.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Well, what's wrong with us wanting democracy and things that are fair? Like, I really believe that, you know, like, you know, from the school levies to the social media banter to the people, how they're treating each other nowadays, what we're going through in this valley, and all the hate and all this stuff that's being, you know, everywhere. And I don't even know if these rallies are a good idea. I don't know if they cause more hate. Then I'm against them because I'm just sick of all of it, you know. And I don't think people are just going to automatically get together and start having fun again because it's been a long time. In fact, it's been since Trump first got elected. Like, we're a lot of people, and we all know them that just, whoops.
You're just too triggered.
I'm too triggered.
You
You're
can't
right.
be
I got to
triggered
chill the
by
fuck out,
everybody,
man. I
you
got to chill the fuck
You got
out.
to focus on the big stuff.
Don't you own a weed shop?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, then let's move on to Montana politics. We'll get over that. So,
I went up and I actually testified again on some of these property tax bills. Burns' bill was in House Appropriations right now. That's the one that says that you get to keep all your property tax increases, don't even send them into the state. We're just going to adjust the rate down to 0.76.
oh,
And so that's Burns' bill from Crescent. And so I testified on that and kind of talked to the lawmakers about how much money they're actually collecting.
yeah.
You know, the state itself collects 168 million extra bucks because of reappraisal. Now, the governor's bill wants to give you a portion of that back, but the governor's bill still collects $100 extra million per year from homeowners to do something with.
Yeah, what? The slush fund?
Well, the slush fund's already they got that $1.2 billion of federal money for the slush fund.
That's right.
You know, but they need this ongoing revenue stream for income tax cuts. You can't do income tax cuts without an ongoing revenue stream to back it up. So what they want to do is they want to give the top end income tax cuts to folks, and they're going to make the homeowners, moderate homeowners in places like Columbia Falls and Big Fork and Creston pay for it.
Well, that's what it seems like,
That's
and
what it's
we're
really
doing
all
it
about.
now.
That's the game.
Just
Like,
don't
who's
tell
getting-
Ed that business taxes are going to be cut too, because then he'll be all for it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. No, I've always said I want it to be fair for everybody. I'll be honest. I'm a flat tax fan. I am. I'm a huge flat tax fan. I'm not a big Ted Cruz fan, but Ted Cruz always dangles it out there.
You should pay the same tax rate as the billionaires.
Yeah, I should. You're damn right. 0? That would be really nice, you know? I mean, it's crazy what tax rates different people have and what you can qualify for and how tricky your accountant is. I mean, America's, again, capitalism. You're going to try everything you can, you know?
Sure.
And I'm hoping something does get done on. I talked to Fern. I was at the Capitol the other day. I got to meet Zoe Zephyr. That was really cool. She said she'd zoom in. I met her because I wanted to get her opinion on a hearing she attended. She was on the committee. It was Joint Resolution 22. I'm not sure if anybody has heard of it. It is to ordain Christ as king in Montana. There we go, Lucas Schubert. Right? A joint resolution of the Senate and the House of Representatives, state of Montana, acknowledging the kingship of Jesus fucking Christ.
All right.
What in the hell? So we had no proponents at all for this bill. A lot of opponents. He called out native lobbyists for being against it. He sounded like kind of a Nazi in a way.
It sounds like somebody who really knows who Jesus Christ is.
Dude.
Because Jesus wanted to be king.
Somebody
he
quote.
He was bitter.
Somebody
He was
said
so
that.
bitter about not being king.
So Zoe and a rabbi, I forgot his name.
Staffman.
Yes, ripped him apart in very. It was classy and being like, dude, you don't know, you know, and like, and the
Schubert
native.
is a boy.
He is a boy. He's a boy. Somebody's boy toy.
He's not the only
Charlie,
person sponsoring
Yeah.
this bill. Look, you got Fuller's name on this.
you do have Fuller's name
You
on
got
it.
Glim on here.
What?
You
Fuller?
Got Nolan on
Yeah.
here.
But-
Fuller used to teach.
but did you
at
notice-
high
It's a
school.
shock full.
None of them showed up at the hearing to offer any support. Not one of them. And I think there might have been
Sorry,
6
kid.
opponents. Sorry, kid. Thanks for lunking the load.
Yeah.
I mean,
is that a halo behind his head?
That was kind of dumb.
Looks like a
yeah.
halo.
Is that,
He looks very presidential there. Anyway, again, wasting our time. I hung out at night with a
I think
bunch
that's
of
actually a New Jersey drone.
representatives and people that work in Helena and stuff, and we kind of just joked about that, you know, all night, you know, saying, my God, you know, and like, you know, and these people are calling him all kinds of names. And to be honest, he doesn't have a lot of friends up there. So I kind of feel sorry for him.
I don't think he has a lot of friends anywhere.
Probably
He
not.
still gets paid. I mean,
All right.
they get paid quite well.
Oh, yeah, $38 a day or something.
I'll go through some of the benefits that they actually get later. You're going to be a little bit surprised.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Look
Yeah,
at that.
but, you know-
Look at this. That's pretty good. When you're actually included in a war plan group chat.
Funny stuff.
Yeah, we are living in a weird time.
That is
All right,
so
let's keep
wild.
going.
But when are they going to get rid of this DIA Bible stuff? I mean, there's
What's
not
that?
enough white guys in the Bible.
Oh, I know. That's what we were going to talk about. Didn't you send something, or
I'm
Kevin?
telling you, there are
The
no
top. We
white
need a
guys
top
in
10.
the Bible.
Not a
Only
one.
I mean, they
Right.
even scrubbed white Jesus off Big Mountain. They made him brown again.
Yeah.
Well, you have to. You got to be right. How in the world could he be white? I got to be honest. I have a feeling a strong percentage of this country thinks he is white.
Well, he's white, just like Santa.
Santa's definitely white.
Yeah.
Yes. No. And the Easter Bunny.
Yeah.
Yep.
Our
And St.
lady of the
Patrick.
Rockies is clearly
Yeah,
white.
she's white.
All honkies, every one of them. So when I got to Helena, I was just there to try to meet with somebody to sponsor an amendment that I wanted to put on a bill. And I'm pulling into town, and I you know, you don't have service when you're driving there. So I don't know what's going on. So I text somebody in there, and like,
You
oh,
have to
dude,
be out of touch for like half an hour.
yeah, well, no, yeah, well, from
I mean,
Sealy
it's
Lake
like you were a teenager trying to figure
to
out. what the
Avon,
hell-
yeah.
You're sitting in Steve's social studies class without
But I'm like, hey, do you want to meet at Blackfoot or whatever? He goes like, the Ellsworth hearing just started. I'm like, oh, fuck, I'll be right there. And you know what I don't get in the Capitol? If you've ever been in the gallery, like in the Senate chambers, you have this much leg room. That much. Why don't they change that?
It's like the back of a cop car.
It's worse. It's worse. I wouldn't know,
People
but
used to be smaller back when
That's
they were-
because there were a bunch of Irish people who freaking
Okay.
founded this.
bunch of miners back
Have a
then.
go at the Irish
That-
now, will
that's
you?
right.
Little miners, I guess. But anyway, so I watched this Ellsworth hearing, and I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but anyway, he's, you know, questionable at least. Fined from the FCC in 2009. He's broken a bunch of laws. Like, you
He's
know.
the guy who got that $500,000 from the governor's slush fund.
Yes. And he signed the 2 contracts for $70,000 each to his friend that they formed an LLC 3 days before the session. Pretty brutal stuff, but, you know, no harm, no foul, never cash a check, we didn't do it, you know, whatever. So they go to censure him, and they need a 2/3 majority to censure.
Which is 34 votes.
So it was 27-23. All Republicans voted to censure, 2 Democrats. Then they vote to expel him, 27-23. They need 34. All 4 Democrats voted to expel him. One of ours did, Dave Fern. I think Fern.
They lost like 8
And
or
the-
9 Republicans even on
Well,
that vote.
they did, but I couldn't. Well, because this is how politics works. Ellsworth is a kind of slimy guy. I can't say kind of. I mean, he's a businessman. And he's a smooth, he plays the game better than anybody in Helena. I'm going to tell you that right now. Whether you love him or hate him, he knows politics. He knows how to save his ass. After the hearing, I was kind of pissed, I was like, I'd like to see somebody pay a price for breaking the fucking law, or doing something with our money. Like, this is bad. This is what liberals do, isn't it? This is what Democrats do, isn't it? You're a Republican. You're very conservative. And Greg Hertz, man, after he got done, what he had to say, he was like this. And I just wish that we need to get rid of problems like this. Put his mic in like real. He was pissed. Hertz was pissed. All the Republicans that voted against it.
Theater. I mean,
it's theater.
They knew they didn't.
But the Democrats saved his ass.
They were just doing it for theater.
It was theater.
I mean,
but if the Democrats would have voted to
votes, and you're going to do that, and you don't have the votes.
You can say what you want. But why did the Democrats not vote to get rid of him, expel him? Because he's been working with them and helping them pass bills.
Right.
I mean,
he's one of the. Is it one of the 8 or 9?
Nine, the nasty 9
with the Democrats.
Well, because he's pissed he didn't get to be president. He's got an ongoing war with Regier. Now Regier is going through the same ethical shit right now for some kind of weird contract.
No, he's down to the legislative auditor himself.
So his ass was saved by this vote too. But Fern told me, and I met Dave Fern after. I'm like, Dave, what the fuck? And Dave is not this guy. It's fucked. It's like, woo, Dave.
Very un-Dave.
Very un-Dave, if you know Dave. Very un-Dave.
All the Flathead senators voted for expulsion.
Yeah, right. Well, I thought the whole fucking state should have, but I'm not the one working deals with them. So, and to be honest, some of the bills that got killed, some of the things that have helped Montana, he's been a part of. Ellsworth has been a part of.
See what happens.
Stick around when?
Another month, see what happens.
Right. Because because they're still figuring out ways to get rid of them or to deal with them, All right, one more real quick before we get to Mike's bills. Senate Bill 49, I believe, was Barry Usher's bill, making the top 5 government officials in Montana immune from if they're attorneys.
Look where the bill came from. Again, this is one of those bills coming from.
It's got a lot of sponsors, right?
From Essman's or what's his name's committee? Ellsworth's committee.
Ellsworth's committee.
Yeah,
Yes.
The committee to make justice partisan. The one that the governor used his slush fund, $500,000 slush fund on to activate. That's where this bill is coming from.
So one senator said, he looked right at Usher. He goes, "This looks like a favor bill to me." And this was a Republican. I'm like, yeah, it's a fucking favor for Austin Knudsen right now. Without a doubt, it's a favor to him. That would help him a lot if they could pass this and make it law, and he can draw out his legal cases.
So I imagine the thought behind it is they'll be better at their job if it's not for these pesky ethics obligations.
Yes, of course. Well, that's why you get rid of your inspector generals and all, any oversight. We don't want that. Yeah. What else is interesting going on there, Mike?
I think that bill is pretty interesting, and to give people a pass. I mean, it has a retroactively applicability date. It goes back to January of 24.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah,
So what are they?
It's retroactively dated.
So they're clearly
Oh, that's horrible.
Happened in the past.
Yeah, boy, I can't
Come
think
on,
of anything
Republicans.
All of the
Come on, Republicans. This is bad.
Nope.
That's a thing a Democrat would do.
Nothing stands out. Yeah, no one. I can't think of anyone that
No,
got in ethics trouble. Nope.
No.
Well, anywho,
Definitely not any Republicans. Not at all,
That's why
no.
we needed this committee to make justice
Certainly.
partisan so we could figure out this stuff.
What's going on there, I find it, I'm one of those nerds. Oh, but after that flashback to 2011. That was a horrible person. That's when you served then. Jeff Essman, remember that guy? He is
Jeff.
pretty sleazy. Okay, after the hearing, though, I went outside, had a smoke, and so there's a lady out there, and she's sitting down, and she's distraught. She's like this.
I mean, that's where all the deals are cut at those ashtrays outside.
Oh, yeah. Oh, without a doubt. And Ellsworth was out there smoking, too. I was like, I'm going to go. Nah, I'm not going to talk to him. But I said, you were at that hearing? She goes, yes. I go, crazy? She goes, she was like Fern. She goes, it's fucked. She goes, he's going to get away with whatever he wants the rest of his life. She said he's gotten away with everything his whole life. He's going to continue to get away with everything his whole life and have a lot of money to do it. It's like, that's how he's a player.
But it's very strange that people don't care. I was talking
People
to a friend.
do not care.
I was talking to a friend yesterday about Ellsworth, and he had no idea, and he just kind of shrugged and was like, Well, that's why they're there, right? I mean, they're all crooked and corrupt. It was like,
I'm going to tell you what, Dave Fern is not crooked. Mary Cafaro is not crooked. I don't think Greg Hertz is crooked. I really don't, you know.
There's been an awful lot of members who are reporting their conflicts of interest suddenly, though.
Dude, conflict of interest is like the word of the session.
yeah,
It's crazy. Like
bad.
I've heard the word favor and like and Republican on Republican here. You know, it's kind of gay. Yeah, I mean they're not all helping each other out. You know, what? That was funny.
That was fun. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of gay.
Is that like dog on dog or human on dog?
Okay, we're gonna stop that right there. But anyway, it's kind of a joke. I watched, I try to watch as many hearings as I can. Things that really, like they had a hearing on Senate Bill 74 to start taxing just the net on marijuana instead of the gross. Because if you have a $100 product in your marijuana store, but you sell it for $50, your net is $50. You still pay the full 26% tax on the $100, even though for a veteran you discount it, whatever. Not constitutional, no. It doesn't make any sense. Nobody in Montana pays tax on something they didn't pay for except in marijuana. And that's another thing that the marijuana haters just put in the bill to make it better. But I think we're going to clean up. I think Cashmire is going to clean that one up, and that's really cool. All right, Mike, what do you got? What else you got?
We should sell marijuana at museums.
That would help. And libraries.
Hold on some of the revenue streams on your pot bills here.
That was one of our topics, was where the marijuana money's going.
How much money do you think pot generates for the state of Montana?
$57 million in a year?
No, it's up to 63.
Oh, it's 63 this year.
Wow.
In 24.
Fiscal year 26.
Okay.
And so I was like, that sounds like a lot of money.
It's more than liquor.
So it's like
Not as much as the
beer
slush
tax,
fund.
$3 million. Pot tax, $63 million. How much do you think the coal tax is?
I don't know.
$21 million. The pot tax is 3 times.
And nobody lobbies on behalf of marijuana. We get shit on every session. Nobody fights back at all. They're all just happy to have their legal marijuana. I'm going to tell you what. It's horrible. There's no funding to go after illegal marijuana, and the state knows. They don't give a fuck. They're getting their money, and they don't care who's competing with us because they don't want us in business in the first place, but they're taking our money. It is brutal. It's brutal how much money they bring in and how much power we don't have.
Folks, I thought you wanted to talk about this one.
Yeah, I do.
Where does it go?
307 by McGilvery.
Oh.
He takes that pot money.
Yep.
And
Redistributes it to the
away
cops.
Takes it away from trails and recreation, the $2 million away from them. Takes the non-game wildlife, $2 million away from them.
Yep.
And gives it to the Heart Fund, which I think, what is that, like a recovery?
The Heart Fund is recovery, yes. Yep. Yeah, it's a good thing, a really good thing. Which some of the money already goes to it, to be fair. I'm pretty sure some of it already goes to it.
Oh, yeah, no, they just want to
put more in it.
And so they're stripping away from those conservation efforts and putting into...
And more going to cops, too, right?
They don't want outdoor recreation in the state of Montana. Is that the problem?
Hell no.
It is outdoors. I mean, that's people getting outdoors and, exercising or recreating.
Oh,
Who wants that?
right. I don't know. Sounds gay.
But what I don't like is in the initiative,
Sounds
language,
woke to me.
the language that was the language on the ballot issue, I believe, said where the money went, and that's where it should stay. And that's normally what happens. But then legislature does get a hold of things and changes things at their will.
Still arguing about where to put the lotto money.
Oh my God, you're right.
They're still
You're
arguing
right.
about the lotto money for this, 40 years later.
So yeah, this will be ongoing.
This will be I think the best part about the pot tax, that 60 some odd million, that $7 million goes to Department of Revenue. And so, the administrative fee on the pot tax is like 12 or 15%.
Well, you know why? Because they send in, there's like 400 some stores. They all get inspected 1 year just to get inspected, and they all get a surprise inspection every year, sometimes 2. I mean, and this is something the industry should fight back against. I tell legislators this when I meet them, and they are blown away. They have no idea. I go, I own a bar, generates a lot of money, 4 times, 5 times the money than the dispensary. My license is $500 here. Dispensary, $5,000. When I get inspected here once every 3 years, maybe, I might have a few violations. They let me fix them whenever I want. I don't have to show them proof that I fixed them. No fines, no nothing. Marijuana, I'll get 30 fines in my 170 square foot store. I'll get $12,000 in fines. I'll fix them. I still get the fines. It's very corrupt. It's bad, and they're sucking as much money as they can. But the Department of Revenue needs that because to pay the inspectors, to pay all, and then I got to hire a lawyer. Then I get my fines reduced, but I give the lawyer the half that I got reduced anyway. Yeah. It's so bad.
Maybe we should get Elon involved in that.
We should doge the marijuana
You
stuff
need
in
some
Montana.
efficiency in your life.
We need some more efficiency in the marijuana.
Where else is that money going, Mike? Don't say anywhere else.
You know, that's mostly where they want to put
Okay.
it. But I was really surprised.
How much?
You know, that the pot tax is 3 times the revenue stream of the entire coal reserves for the state of Montana.
And you know what? The coal people don't pay taxes, I'm going to bet. And we do. And we pay a lot of taxes, and we can't write off anything.
You know,
because
I've
it's
smoked
illegal
coal and
federally.
It's not as good as smoking weed.
No, you want to smoke weed way more than coal.
Yeah, you roll
That's probably why it
coal.
brings it up. You roll coal.
Roll coal.
Roll
Smoke
call.
weed,
Yeah, that should be our roll call. All right, what else is happening in Helena that's going to piss us off, Mike?
I don't know. You know, there's a lot of stuff up there. You know, we got the independent bill. We talked about this a little bit. That's moving through the process to make it impossible for independent candidates to run.
Yes.
That's moving.
Is that moving through?
Oh yeah, that's
God
moving
damn
through.
it.
All the Republicans love it. All the Democrats hate it.
I bet.
Of course.
Yeah, and you know they want more signatures to run as an independent. If you lost in the primary, you're done. You can't run in the general again.
They want to make sure that like Frank Garner never brings an IR 126 again or something like that. They really want to make sure, like they're
But
afraid.
This is all the flathead Republicans. You got Schumer, Fuller, Sprunger, Regier, Glim, Falk, Hertz, Mercer, Mitchell, Nolan.
That's all of them.
They got
Schubert.
Olsen
I was
guys
going to say I
out
didn't
there,
hear
too.
Schubert in there.
Got Schubert.
Was Hertz on there?
Schubert's in there.
Oh.
Schubert's in there.
First 3 ones. He's in there.
Yeah, you know, and I mean, we're a big part of thinking about doing this show and like us talking and stuff is trying to get people, for one, just to stop hating each other. And I know I say a lot of bullshit that pisses people off, and I get some pretty dirty looks in Kalispell, which I'm fine with. But these bills, what we're doing with our money, how we're fighting, how we're talking about crisis king, how the state of Montana is with all these lawsuits. How do we get to this point where we can just have some clearer heads and people talking about it, how to make it better when all this noise is always out there, Like,
Nobody's really paying to the noise. I mean, I remember when I used to come back from 4 months in Helena, people would be like, I haven't seen y'all. Where you been? That's the reality of what's going on, and we think people are paying attention to this stuff, and they're really not.
no, I mean, but I'll tell you, and I know we like to joke about us not having any followers, but this is the way people are watching local politics. They're finding podcasts, local podcasts.
Yeah.
It's like, you're very welcome, we're doing this. Thank you, Tamarack, for getting me hammered every Wednesday. I did not need a reason. Quinnell needs a beer. I think Ryan needs a seltzer. Try to keep Mike here for another hour.
Don't you think if we had more independent voices, people
Yes.
would be happier?
Fuck
with
yeah.
the governing?
Who's making it harder to make independence run now?
governing
What
would-
party's doing that?
Yeah, the governing would be more to the middle, which is what people want.
That's exactly what they want. I want it like I
And we'd be
cannot.
focusing on governance rather than petty
Culture war?
projects like Christ
Well,
is King. I mean,
Like,
what
no,
the fuck
that's
is that?
insane.
I mean,
Okay, no, that's insane. It was insane.
But I
It was,
think the Republicans got mad because was Buchanan, he did well when he ran in the Eastern District, and Evans did quite well running in the PSC district. And
Which-
I think that caught their attention a little bit.
I think you're right. You're right.
Plus Bernie's out there saying, hey, forget about the Democrats, run as an independent.
Run as an
Right.
independent.
Well, I've been saying that for 2 years. I really have.
Well, you're
And
Bernie.
Yeah, it's the
you
truth.
know, and like, it's funny when we had Busty on a couple of weeks ago, and I go, man, I think if you would have ran as an independent, I don't think you would have won, but you would have got more votes. That's what I think. I think for sure because.
Well, Ryan would have voted for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So would I have. But I do think because our education system does suck, our students aren't that smart. I mean, people are not. We don't have a whole lot of smart people running around, I guess. And if you're sitting there, you're at the ballot box, and the only thing you know is vote for an R. That's all you know.
Yeah.
And I'm not blaming that person at all. There's people that only know to vote for a D. My mama said liberals is the way, so I'm going to do it. You know what I mean?
Maybe it's time to move to a parliamentary system. I mean, it makes a little more sense.
I'm going to tell you. Do you know that
you have to form a coalition to govern?
what was it? Was it IR 126? It was IR, the right Garner's bill, Frank Garner's bill, or the ballot initiative.
Went down hard.
It didn't lose by that much.
Did it get more votes than Bussey?
Yes,
Ooh,
it definitely.
well, that's not hard.
It definitely got more votes than Bussey.
That's not hard. It received
Steve
3
got
votes.
Steve got more votes than Bussey.
I got more votes than Barack Obama did in this county.
Right.
Yeah, probably. Well, he's colored.
I will always hang my hat.
Do we know is anybody running against Brad Abel yet?
That's when you were running on
I
the
don't think
cheap
so.
side.
I haven't heard.
I don't think there's anybody to run. I
I
guess.
haven't heard.
Yeah, right. I'm too busy to be a county commissioner. That's for damn sure. And I don't think I can sit next to Pam.
I don't think anybody's too busy the way they do things.
True. It does seem like a gravy job. I mean, when they don't meet the city mayors and
They make
councilors.
good money, don't they?
Like $110 a year. Yeah, it's
Is
six
it up to
figures.
$110?
It's 6 figures for sure. Yeah.
That's 4 or 5 orders of wings.
Dude, somebody show me a fucking
You can go out. You can go out
Somebody
to
show me a
Wings twice
picture. Who showed me a picture of Pam Holmquist next to Gary Busey?
George Kennedy.
Oh,
from Cool
George
Hand
Kennedy,
Luke,
that
yes.
was you.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot to put that in the slideshow.
Well,
She
we
does kind of
always
look like
have
George
next week,
Kennedy. That's
yeah.
kind of weird, man. I thought that was funny.
But we do want more independents running. I think it's a good thing. You know, I think
We
make a
need,
mistake.
so we got to kill this bill.
Well, yeah, good luck. I mean, the Republicans are voting for it. Its governor's going to sign it. It's going to go through the courts and do
You're
what
right.
it's going to do. You know, they're targeting ineligible voters again, inactive voters, so it's going to have some hiccups. But, you know, we do want more independent-minded folks running. We tend to think that people are partisan when they're voting, and I don't believe that. I think people are voting for very economic reasons. They're
Yes,
voting
Mike.
on pocketbook reasons. And let's be real, the last 4 years was shit for a lot of people.
It was.
You
It was.
know,
And the
look at
previous
the
4
price
years
of
was shit for a lot of
housing.
people.
Look at the price of, you know, all this stuff that people are really having a hard time with,
Yeah.
and they're just going to go the other direction. You know, they
Yep.
didn't vote for all the chaos. They voted for economic reasons.
They voted for
Again,
cheaper
we're
eggs.
talking about
They didn't get it.
233,000 voters in 6 or 7 states.
It's
that
not a
many
lot,
people
dude.
who
It's
changed
not a
their
fucking
mind.
mandate. That's all. That's for goddamn sure. It's just not a
Never has
mandate. But I get exactly what you're saying, and people do vote with their wallets, and I think people do want to be more independent. I don't think like I want to be more independent. I've always wanted to be more independent.
Right.
When I started having family and friends treating me like shit because I really didn't necessarily like Trump, 5 years ago, I lost some friends, and I'm like, I don't like this guy as president. He's dividing people like never. It's never happened before. I'll divide people like it's never happened before. The best division you've ever seen. And he's done it. He's done it in a big way, and I didn't appreciate that, so I voted straight ticket with Democrat the first time in my life, and I was like, kind of felt good, even though some of the people I didn't really like. I was just that fed up, and I don't ever.
The uglier politics is, the less Democrats vote.
Oh, dude, you're right.
You know, and so the
You're
uglier
definitely
they
right, 'cause
make
it's
it,
turn off.
The Democrats stay at home. They don't vote and say, no, I don't want any part of this. They're all the same. It's not true. They're doing it on purpose.
I think if 126
because they're trying to drive down voter participation.
Without a doubt. If 126 would have passed, that would have driven up voter participation because it was an open primary. Didn't matter what party you were.
Right.
That's fucking awesome.
Yep.
That's democracy to me. That should be America.
That's the way Alaska works, and it.
Maine works that way. California does it now. So you got
now.
conservative
Save
and liberal
Murkowski,
states doing it.
She would have been primaried out.
Who?
Murkowski.
Well,
Current senator.
she's a fucking rhino.
She is.
Without a doubt.
So you see the state pay plans in there, and the legislature.
Yes, so what is the raise? That's right. That's what you're.
Raise their
Lawmakers
pay?
stuck their own raise in
They
there.
did,
Yeah.
which, and I saw less people
Thank you, Amy.
that wanted it than, like, anyway, that what I read that supported it than did support it. So, what do they want to increase their pay to?
Well, on an annual basis, up to 58,000.
No.
Yeah, but
For
they don't
Senator,
work-
for Senate.
They only work 4 months. So,
Right.
so
No
it
shit.
turns out to be about $28-30 an hour they're trying to get themselves to.
They only get paid in the year that they're serving, or they get paid every year that much.
They just get paid for the session, don't they?
That's for those 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
90 days.
Okay.
Yeah. And so they're trying to drive that up to about $28-30 an hour. you know, and in my mind, they should be at the minimum wage, you know, see what it's like working on the minimum wage.
No shit, because you might work harder for the average person.
Free health insurance. Look, get this. 4 months of work, you get free health insurance for 2 years.
Holy Christ.
Where else in Montana can you get
Dude,
that kind
well,
of
being a
benefit?
teacher, for sure.
No kidding.
Beer almost came through his nose.
Boy.
If you only knew how
Dude,
bad my
that's...
health
Is there anyone more
Okay.
overcompensated
they
and
also get
overpaid
lodging.
than a
Every day
teacher?
they're up there in Helena.
Wait. They get lodging?
$110 a day.
Okay.
Well, then they're staying at a pretty shitty motel in Helena in a session.
That's not. You can't even get the Super 8 for that.
No.
during the session.
Yeah, I mean, not many people stay at the motel. They're all renting basement.
Maybe the garden
apartments.
wall. Inn.
Right, yep, they are, yep.
Yeah.
I wonder where Fern stays. Probably in the back of somebody's pickup.
They get their per diems.
And they get their per diems a day, 38 bucks a day or something, and food,
They're
yep.
trying to increase that to more of the federal levels. They
Really?
get much fun for technology.
Oh my God, so they can all have iPads to look at Facebook?
And then they get matching retirement.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Lawmakers,
Even if for one term?
as soon as you sign, first thing, one of the things that you do when you become a lawmaker, they go through your compensation package and say, you want matching retirement? I said, yeah, I want matching retirement. And so, you know, we think they're up there just being citizen lawmakers. They're actually doing quite well.
Yeah. Well, I got to be honest.
They're
Okay.
not like on the city council. I mean, those guys, they got to
No.
up there, be up
Right.
there
No,
working.
they better work.
You know,
They're not like
every day of the week.
they're not cleaning chimneys like Fern, you know, being
Thank
super
you for the new
rich.
truck, Mr. Averill. Yeah.
That's a used truck, by the way.
Yeah, that's you're
It's a
damn right. It is.
2024.
It's 'cause
So
I
it's
gave my
kinda-
daughter my car.
I think the only thing that, as much as I rip on Ellsworth and the Democrats for working with Ellsworth, I guess, I want to put a shout out to Tammy Fisher real quick, though. Montana Values Podcast. Her last episode was awesome. It was really awesome. It went into the Knutson and the Ellsworth, and she's got a really good point of view on this stuff. She's really up to date. She's way smarter than we are. And her podcast, Montana Values, if you want to listen to this, they're only like 20 to 40-minute episodes, and they're very good, very, very good. She's very entertaining. She knows what's up. But the one thing I can say is, we haven't been hurt that bad yet in this session by the nasty nine working with the Democrats, and making sure we've got a little more moderate approach to Montana, right? I mean, it's been more moderate than the last session and way more moderate than I expected it to be.
Well,
But
look, we can be mad at Democrats, but the more Democrats you send up there, the more moderate it's going to be, the more
Exactly.
productive it's going to be, because the Democrats are the guys doing the work.
oh, without a doubt, and it's been that way for a very long time. I mean, and I'm not.
Republicans get all the credit, Democrats are doing the work.
Okay, and to my point, like I've said before, I'm still waiting for Mr. Regier to email me back. Our
He
Senate
will. He'll get
president.
around to it.
He'll get it. Yeah. One of them, maybe.
I called Schubert again today.
But again, you called him?
Yeah, I've called him once a week since the session. He hasn't called me back.
Oh,
I've
what a
been very
dick.
polite. Just wanted to ask him about a few things. And
Well,
he
what-
call back.
I wanted somebody to. I asked Kevin. I go, I wish we could get somebody here to defend. Because if Zoe Zephyr had time, we could have zoomed her in, but she was too busy to talk about Joint Resolution 22. And I'm like, I would love to have somebody to defend it here. And Kevin's like, Don Kay?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, God, yeah, try to get him.
Get Don
I don't
on.
know if Mormons think Christ are king. I don't know what Mormons think at all. I know they wear special underwear.
They do.
They seem to like hamburgers.
They're in the
and-
Sweet 16.
They what?
They're in the Sweet 16.
They can marry 16-year-olds?
BYU is in the Sweet 16.
Oh, yeah, that
Yes.
way, yeah.
Yeah.
But they also marry 16-year-olds.
Well,
Mormons are still on the Living Prophet page.
Living,
That's the old
yes.
school Mormons.
yeah.
They're
Although I
very
did hear
reformed.
a BYU player was recently suspended. He tested positive for coffee.
Oh, no, no.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
my God.
Yep.
Oh, no.
man.
Man, oh,
You're
man.
not supposed to drink that stuff, but you can
Caffeine.
invest in it.
I know, it's a
mean,
big
the
scandal.
church makes a
You
lot of
can
money on
invest in it
cocoa.
for sure.
big
You're
scandal.
damn right.
Brian,
And
was he soaking too, or?
Yeah, well, I don't know about that.
I guess you could say at least we're not Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, North or South Dakota. Montana is still a little better than those places, but we are an island surrounded by some fucking straight up weird.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what they okay, the crisis king, that's fucking weird. All right, that's a weird thing to talk about in politics.
Yeah.
It is. It doesn't even touch half the shit that goes on in South Dakota, Wyoming, and Idaho, though. It really doesn't. Nice, you won. Tony won our pinball tournament tonight. Your host needs a hat trick. Yeah, Tony. Nice. Pinball champion. He spends $7,000 a day playing pinball in here. He should fucking win.
worth
What do you get? $10?
You want a shirt?
I heard that's
Hey,
better than gambling.
Ooh,
We
we
need to raise the tax on pinballs.
So, Mike, another thing, I don't know if you follow it, probably not, but there's a bill to raise sports bets to $4 and have. Nah, no, not for me. I don't think so. You know, I mean, people might play it more, but that means I would have to carry like twice as much money in my bar.
Not sports bets. He's talking about the Keno
No,
machines.
the Keno machines. I mean, what do you guys think of that? It's
Who's
$2.
asking for
It's
that?
a $2 limit. I don't know because the Tavern Association's against it.
I
It's
always
got to be
wonder
the
that.
gaming companies.
I always wonder that when these bills pop up, it's like, do they have like degenerate gamblers?
It's got to be the gaming company because they make the money.
Yeah, video gambling tax, $80 million per year.
Wow. And it's gone up 20% in the last 2 years.
Top people.
That's more than pot. Gambling's more than pot. And
So you
I've
make
got
a
my hands in both.
So
That's
you
how
make a
evil
killing
I
off
am.
these machines back here?
Fuck no, I do not. I make more money off that claw machine.
What other
Really?
Vices, what
Yep.
other vices are in there? Can we?
They're all in here. I really
What are
like
the other
it.
vices?
Amanda,
that
tell
we're
Amy I
making
need a beer.
money on in Montana?
Thank you.
I mean, the tobacco products tax is low. You know, I'm surprised it's not more.
It's very low. It's higher than it's been, but it's still low compared to other
Cigarettes are
states.
cheap in Montana.
I mean, wine
Cheaper.
tax, $2.5 million on wine tax. I mean, what's wrong with
That's
the
it.
wine people?
I don't know. We don't have that many fancy people here, probably.
Is that what it
What
is?
if we
Iron Horse
started
needs to buy more
taxing
wine.
sodas like they do in San Francisco? How much do you think we'd get there?
Watch your tongue, boy. This is not San Francisco.
From my cold, dead hands.
Yeah,
Steve.
god damn. You know what's funny? We have a friend that
Bunch
lives
of
there.
energy drinks.
Kevin's brother lives there, and Ryan's like, we got to interview him when he comes to
should.
town. Tell him, like, how's San Francisco? How's smelling all the poop in the streets?
I went there in December, had a great time.
Oh, I go to Seattle a bunch, and honestly, I didn't get killed.
Right.
I never have gotten killed yet there. And
Not yet.
It's
I mean,
never
you're still
really,
here.
you know.
So
All
I,
right,
did, I did go up to the viaduct like I was talking about last week and did this rally with these public lands people. And I went up there because
how many people were there?
there's 60, 70.
Oh, wow.
You know, that kind of people. It was a good crowd. Nice to see some folks up there. But I went up there and my sign basically talked about House Bill 676. That's the Speaker of Montana's bill to sell 1.25 million acres of state public land.
Wow.
I just heard about that. I saw there's quite a thing on social media now about that. So who's sponsoring that?
The Speaker of the House, Larry.
Really?
Yeah.
Where's this come from? Has he got co-sponsors?
Is it all over the place, or is it in one area, or is it?
A lot of this land is more isolated in eastern Montana, you know, and as leaseholders.
Well, they're doing that in
and
Utah
they're
right
stopping
now.
People from getting in there, and now they want to kind of purchase the land because, you know, whatever. But
Because they've kind of squatted on it for
they
all
kinda
those years.
squat
Yeah,
for $100
yeah, well,
to
you know.
$200 an acre
It's
for
pretty fucking ugly out there. They can have it if you ask me. Probably a lot of oil though. Probably a lot of resources.
Over 1 million acres. I mean, everyone keeps saying the Republicans don't want to sell public lands, don't want to sell public lands. They're put up 1 million
They want-
acres of Montana public lands. For
How many
sale.
square miles of the Crazy Mountains did we sell? 15 square miles of the Crazy Mountains. Yeah, this is just the beginning. So I don't know if you guys. I'll touch on the Utah law real quick. Go ahead.
So Laird, he talked about how it would take him 30 years to pay off what he was paying to lease the land. Well, that's goddamn our land that he's paying for.
Yeah.
It's going to be doing it.
So
Fuck
pay,
you, man.
yeah, yes. What the? Well, he's not dumb. He knows how to play the game, and if he can change the law, better for him, I guess. You know. But it just
And
leads.
it's a water bill.
It
It's
that okay?
addressing
That's
water,
disguising.
right? He's trying to
Okay,
Of course it's about
that's disguising it then.
I mean, but that's not why you go to the state legislature. I mean, that's not why you do that.
Well, you're not supposed to, but people do. It's
but- but I
capitalism,
mean,
Steve. If I could pass a bill to serve 12-year-old people beers, I would. I would go do that. If I had that power.
If
I'd
it's
make
legal
more money.
for Ed to pay TJ less, he would.
I would. Oh, yeah, I'd pay him nothing, for sure.
Oh, you didn't hear me.
Good. He might kill me. Don't ever do that. He's fucking crazy. Everybody loves TJ. 7-Eleven was a part-time job.
This Utah bill.
So Utah they are doing this for real. They're selling their public lands to anybody. Like, I'm assuming
The people with money.
Well, yeah, people with money. So are we going down a dangerous path with this bill from our speaker? Because, I mean, a lot of people are fighting back in Utah, but I think Utah, like, they don't have many Democrats at all.
Not really.
No. They have more than Idaho. Idaho has 6, I think, in their Senate.
It's
Montana's
like
one of the few states that's actually held on to the state trust land.
So,
You
and
know,
that's
it's
important to
written in
us.
their Constitution, that land is held in trust for the people to benefit education.
So this bill's not going to go through.
I don't know. The speaker's a pretty powerful person.
Is it it's a House bill, so is it through the House and into the Senate already, or no?
I actually don't remember if it's through the House or the
Okay.
Senate, where it actually
I'm wondering where that is, because I got to remember to email some people about that one, too. For sure, because you guys, too, please email your representatives, even email ones close to you.
email
You know-
Steve.
Well, yeah, you email me, you know?
Yeah.
Sure.
Send pictures when they come to me, though. Anyway, but email these guys. Let them know some of these things are really important to you, because I think in Montana, definitely our land is probably number one to most of us. We love doing what we do.
Kind of why we live here.
It has always been
Kind
that
of.
way.
Well, you were born here, so you don't have a choice. But yeah, no, it is something we really love, and when it's scary when you see people, especially in leadership.
And when you privatize it, you never get it back.
You'll never get back.
Never
And
get it back.
so, okay, another little off subject. I wasn't really happy with Corey Swanson becoming Supreme Court Justice because he defended some people that have bought private land, cutting off public land, and like kind of weird shit. And he's a lawyer, and he's doing his job. But he's actually doesn't support making the Supreme Court partisan. I think that's a
No, he
very
does
good
not.
thing. And so I think we kind of lucked out with that one. I think the Republicans are a little pissed off and depressed and burnt out, and they're trying to change that. I guess
I mean,
we should
what
finish
else
it.
is new?
Okay, you're right.
Yeah, right.
You're right. But let's finish off. I don't know, Mike. Do you know anything about the judicial changes they're suggesting at all?
They're all working their way through the process, whether they're going to be able to endorse judges or set
Right.
up their own constitutional court. They're all kind of working
That's
through the
just
process.
called a court. Though.
so they're-
I don't understand that.
Well, there's a bill to.
They want to appoint their own justices. That's the problem.
Wait, no, they want to form some kind of new court, don't they?
Create more confusion.
So is
They
that
wanna
still-
This
rid
court
of
ruled
certain
this
people
way.
on the Supreme Court, and then they want
Yeah.
a new court.
They want to have when someone like Riley files a constitutional claim, it goes to a special court with the judges they appoint. as a-
That's-
Yeah, as
That's
a,
not going to happen, is it?
I would hope not. I mean,
I hope that is that still going forward. That one?
You can see the governor signing that bill.
Oh, he would sign it if it made it. Is it going to make it?
A lot of stuff goes through the
Who knows?
legislature.
Well, that'll be in court. That'll definitely be in court. I mean, but I don't know. You want to? I think it's blatantly obvious, and maybe if I'm this hardcore Republican, maybe I support this 100% because I want my way or the highway the rest of my life, and maybe that's the majority we live in the Montana. If I'm a hardcore Democrat. Democrats are winning, like in California. That's what they want. But I don't see them setting these crazy things that are almost, undoable. Like making it that much harder for independents. Writing laws to sell our public lands. Things you cannot undo in 2 years. I mean, especially when your legislature meets every 2 years. I don't know a person anymore that thinks that Montana legislature should meet once every 2 years. I talk to people yes, they should meet at least every year, or full-time job. There's people moving here. There's a lot going on.
You do not want those guys in session.
I don't.
No, you don't.
I
You do
don't.
not want them.
Well, but if
Really
it
want them. The only reason
of all
that
the
we
crazy
get away with
ideas.
the
if it was a full-time job, maybe you'd have less crazy people in it, though.
Yeah.
Because this is easy for people to do.
they're going to get paid more. They're going to stay up there the whole
Yeah,
time. if
you're
they're
right.
getting paid.
They're all getting 6 figures. You're right. Yeah. Yeah.
90 days, trust me.
The problem with Democrats is that they've pushed individual rights too far to the left, and that's the big
Yeah,
reaction
but
that
bullshit.
we've
The
had. But
Republicans push individual rights. I mean, my freedom's hurt. They're all about freedom, individual rights. They push the shit out of that stuff. Trump makes it a fucking national anthem. So I don't see the difference. Democrats are doing it for gay people, so there's a difference.
Democrats would do better if they focused on broader issues.
Oh,
If they
without a
stopped
doubt.
focusing on just the fringe little stuff that, if you're this tall, we're going to help you a little bit.
You know what, Mike? You're right.
You look at the example like the Affordable Care Act, doing some great stuff. But if you're making more money, you're not getting a lot of tax breaks from that plan.
No. Oh, no, I know. No.
You know, and
No,
so
but when I
they
didn't
gotta
make money,
that available to moderate, middle-class income folks.
you know, Obamacare is the reason I got to have a knee surgery. I got to have a shoulder surgery. Like, before I ever made any kind of real money, I mean, I made 20 to 30 grand a year. So I had Obamacare. And before that, I never had any insurance, and I was always super afraid to go to the hospital because I thought it would cost way too much money and stuff, you know. I tore my shoulder completely out of socket, went 15 years without an AC joint because I was afraid to go to a doctor. You know, I had to have it replaced.
Good stuff. But Democrats are doing that over and over. Look at their property tax solutions. You have to make this much money to qualify for help. Now, come on.
Okay, and also, well, we're going to do something where houses under $1 million. Okay, well, that's all houses in Whitefish are over $1 million, so
because the state
you're not fucking helping me.
appraised it that
Exactly. That's not helping me. I go, write a goddamn Prop 19 for Montana. Just stop the bullshit. And if you've been here over 10 years, you just don't pay.
They're gathering signatures for it. Democrats don't even see that it's coming. It's going to be a
Ballot
revenue
initiative?
problem for schools. You watch. And it's going to be their own doing because they're floundering around, not coming up with simple solutions to bring the taxable values down in these jurisdictions so people will vote for the local school levies again and they can afford to live in the places that they grew up. You know, it's simple stuff.
We need you to come to one of our levy meetings and explain that to people. We really do. Yeah, I mean, I
Mike, that would
can
probably
stand
help a
up
lot.
there and talk until I'm blue in the face as a teacher and explain that to them. But we need somebody like you to come and just say, hey, you need to vote for the school levy, and you need to also understand why your taxes are so.
You know what the answer is going to be, Steve? I don't need to do nothing. That's the answer. I mean, I'm just saying.
Well, and it's like if you listen to Montana Talks, it's the goddamn counties. It's the goddamn counties that are raising your taxes.
That show's That show is stupid.
Yeah,
it's so bad.
Well, it's a county tax bill. It's not a state tax bill. It's a county tax bill.
Well, tax, that's another thing. I mean, we'd have a sales tax. It would solve everything. Yeah, said every liberal ever. You know?
I don't want a sales tax.
I do, because
No,
I want cheaper property tax. See, I own a restaurant. I can write off all my food. I'm not paying tax in the grocery stores like you suckers are.
Do you think they're going to lower your taxes if you get another tax?
Yeah.
No,
You're still
no.
on that page?
It's funny. Somebody said to me, he goes, if you're going to have a property tax, then you're going to have to get rid of one of the income or property tax. I'm like, well, that's never going to happen
Never.
either. That's stupid.
Never.
That doesn't even happen in Idaho, okay?
Never.
And I always tell people, and I think a lot of people are floored because people do not know, Idaho has a 6% sales tax.
Yes.
They have an income tax, which they just lowered big time. They did just pass a bill. But they have property tax as well. So they have
government is
well-rounded-
going to get its
and
money.
I'll be honest with you, if you've driven around Idaho, I'm sure most of you have, their roads are fucking nice. I mean, way nicer than ours. I mean, way nicer. Their infrastructure is badass. Anyway,
How Whitefish Road
That's because they
works
don't
for
smoke
the
weed
resort
over there.
tax.
Whitefish roads are really nice because of our tax. Except if you go off the main
Whitefish
ones.
roads were a little potholy.
No, yeah. You know, well, we had dirt.
But you got Glim's bill too. You know, we pick on Glim a lot, but he's got this bill, Senate Bill 90.
What do you mean we pick on him? Glenn. All right, I'm done doing that. He's a nice guy. Okay, what's Senate Bill 90 do? Real quick, before we stop.
Senate Bill 90 is that bill that takes some of that bed tax and tourism tax.
It helps us.
And gives it back to homeowners in this weird application process. He's got a bunch of FTEs in there. To
That part's stupid.
You have to apply to get the money. But there is some of that stuff that you're talking about where they're trying to capture some of that tourism revenue and give it back to homeowners.
Mike, if I was a senator or representative or whatever, I'd put a bill out to raise the fucking bed tax in Montana. It's the lowest in the West. It's one of the lowest in the country. We really do not get money from our tourists at all. You say you don't want a sales tax. Okay, let's give a bed tax then. An Airbnb second homeowner tax. We have to sometime. And the Republicans say, well, I think because none of them are from the state, so they don't want to pay much either, you know, I guess. I mean, you know, that probably saves GM4T a lot of money.
It's not going to influence tourism at all.
No, none of it would. Not at all. Not at all.
Have we seen a decline in tourism in Whitefish because we
California has the highest
No, we have
taxes and the
sales
most
tax in Whitefish.
tourists. That's all I have to say. California has the highest taxes and the most tourists. Bottom line.
And hey,
End
we
of
can
story.
we can get another percent on our resort tax.
Do a
We're
12% bed
probably gonna
tax.
go
You
after it.
know how much fucking money that would bring to Montana? 12%. quadruple that or triple the bed tax right now. The flat rate in Montana, I believe, is 4%. In Whitefish, they charge an extra 4 or something, 6. I don't know. It's still not even 10. And that is kind of a crime in itself that we just don't care to charge tourists. You know, Montana lives off the back of Montanans, which is noble. You know, I'm fucking sick of it, but it's noble. Right?
I
Noble?
think Whitefish, you still tax bicycles, but not Subarus, right?
Yes. On that note, thank you very much, you guys. Thanks
you
for
guys.
watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Tamarack Brewing.